There we go. Thanks for jumping out, especially with this time change, guys. I don't know about you, but it feels like 12 o'clock right now. So we'll get going here. The call was about overcoming your fear, basically, of signing new coaches when you're not 100% sure on how to lead them. And I picked this topic because it was something I got from a lot of my newer coaches, or even people that have been in it for a while and maybe have 2 to 4 coaches, but they're scared to, everybody wants those new coaches, but really once you get them on, how do you lead them? And I kind of want to squash those fears and just empower you and let you know that you have everything it takes to be a leader. And the good thing is that leadership is something that's kind of learned if you're willing to put the work into it. So one of my the first thing I'm going to go into, hopefully everybody has a pen and paper. Hold on, I'm going to switch it because I see Lisa huge, which I love your face, but I want to see everybody here. Okay. Okay. So hopefully you have a pen and paper, and something I say is worth taking notes. Not all of it is coming from me. Anytime I'm trying to get inspiration, and this is a good leadership tip too. Anytime you don't know what to say to your team, just go research it on YouTube, something that your team is dealing with, and make a call about it or make a live video or something. So one of my favorite coaches is Brigitte Linford. She's super awesome, has a cool story. I met her at a Diamonds retreat that my coach did for me, and I just have followed her ever since. So anytime I'm looking for inspiration, I go to her. And so these first things are going to be 5 tips on overcoming negativity. And I wanted to start with that because I feel like that's where fear comes from. Maybe you have negative Nancys in your life, a friend that told you that this business is not going to work. How could you do this? You're not great at social media. You never even post, or your results weren't that good, or any kind of negative thing that can really, if you let that sit in your mind, it can really, really not destroy you, but it impacts us and it makes us fearful of going forward in this business. So of course, one of those is going to be PD, but it's going to be more than that. So number 1, for tips are overcoming negativity. And in your life, guys, oh my goodness, with today, I don't know if y'all saw me say like, peace out social media, but I could not deal. I don't care who you voted for, I still love you no matter what, and I just couldn't deal with all the negativity. It's out there, that's the world, and like as coaches, our job really is to inspire and to be the light. Politics and religion are 2 things you really don't bring up if you want to make more friends type of situation. So not to say you can't voice your opinion, but you can say it in a classy way. But I just decided to be done with social media today. So anyways, just throwing it out there. There's negativity out there, but what we focus our mind on is what's going to happen in our life. So number 1, make a list of positive affirmations. And these are things that are the opposite of what you find yourself saying. So if you're thinking to yourself, I'm not a leader, I want you to put on that list, I am a leader. My team is going to respect me. I can do this. Like, whatever you're feeling, it's basically the positive affirmation of that fear. And post these, guys, not on your wall, you can, but like on your mirror, on your computer, on your desk, wherever you're going to see it all the time, in a little notes thing. So somewhere that you're going to read it all the time and be reminded. And that's just a question you have to ask yourself, like, what's going inside of my head? What's keeping me from making that invite post? Why am I afraid to do that? It's something going on up here, or something that someone else told you. And let's see, one of the things that she had written down was everything was going wrong in her life. She was like a 21-year-old who was in a mental institution. She almost committed suicide, like really awesome comeback story type situation. So that was her negative viewpoint of her life was everything's going wrong in my life. So she made a positive affirmation of my life is a series of happy events. And she just kept telling herself that, like, my life is happy, my life is happy. And eventually it became happy, or, we all have day-to-day crap we go through. But that's the kind of positive affirmations I want you guys to think about. Number 2 on overcoming your negativity is focus on who you're listening to. Okay, so we all have those, maybe it's your Aunt Susan who sells It Works products that thinks that Beachbody is not going to happen. There's always going to be negative people in your life, but there's also those positive people that just told you, maybe it's the coaches on your team, thank you, this is awesome, I've never had a group of people behind me like these girlfriends. Maybe it's a transformation story from a challenger that said, oh my goodness, I lost 10 pounds, or I've, worked out 21 days for the first time ever in my life. Those are the positive things, right? We crave those messages when we get something positive, right? Because we hear so many objections or rejections or no, not right nows. But when you get one of those positive things, cling on to that because it reminds you of why you're doing what you do. And I think it's a great idea for all of us to take a screenshot or save it or copy and paste it into a separate folder. And every time you get a negative message, just go read all the positive stuff and you'll be like, all right, bye, Felicia, to all the negative things that you hear, but that's your choice. You get to decide whether you're going to let those negative thoughts or those positive things that people are telling you. And you get to decide which one you're focusing on. So number 2 is focus on who you're listening to. Are you paying attention and letting those negative people get in your life? Or are you clinging on to your challengers that are getting success, that your coaches who just got success starters, or, you know what I mean? Those are the things that us as coaches long to hear. And if you're on here, send your coach a positive message, because all we get a lot of the times is, I need help with this, or can you do this? Send your coach a thank you, or just even whatever it is, because we love those and we like to collect those too. Number 3, train your mind to be mentally strong. And I have next to this do or die, and that's because that's what Brigida Linford said. And like I said, she was in a 21-year-old in a mental institution, and she was like, I have to do personal development or I'm going to kill myself, basically situation. Obviously, not most of us are in that situation, but technically your business is do or die if you don't have your personal development in. So although it might not be as extreme as our life, our business does depend on it, because we're all going to hit a road. It doesn't matter. I know my coach, Stephanie Chico, told me right before she went 5-star diamond, she almost quit because she just felt like it was too much. There was a lot of pressure. She didn't know if it was worth it. Even though she was making a lot of money, she let the negativity get into her. And so I don't know. I like hearing that though, because I'm like, okay, I know that that's going to come to me. I know that I'm going to want to quit at some time, but what makes us successful is what we do to get past it. And it is the personal development. So if you're on this call and you can't remember the last time you listened to a podcast, opened a book, listened to something, that means to be your number 1 priority, because it's one of the vital behaviors, right? We talk about it all the time. I'm not going to spend too much time about it. It's on every single call, but you have to do it. So, and if you're on this call about leadership, find a call about leadership. If you're trying to grow your team, one of my favorite ones is Entre Leadership by Dave Ramsey. And I actually listened to the audiobook of it. We did the Total Money Makeover or whatever, and I love his books, but I listened to the audio, but my husband's company sends him books. And I was like, yay, because I like to have a hard copy to show that I read, I listen, but whatever. That's a great one for leadership. And the other one is John Maxwell. With anything John Maxwell is all leadership. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And then I'm just going to go Jesus here. Y'all know I love Jesus, so hopefully this doesn't offend anyone, but he was the best leader of all. So he was a servant. He was humble. Just take the things that he was, whatever spiritual thing you're in, but think of leaders that you admire and just try to duplicate what they do. Okay, number 4 is know where you're going, having a clear vision for you and your team, right? Having a vision board. If you guys are on Pinterest, this could be a Pinterest board. It could be something old school, or you cutting things out, inspirational sayings. If maybe you want to buy a house, buy a car, maybe you just want freedom, you want to stay home with your kids, whatever it is for you, it's different for everybody. But having that vision board there is huge, and that's going to keep you focused, which is the last one, number 5, staying focused. I loved this. Brigida Linford has on her desk a picture of a horse with blinders on it, and not because she likes horses, but because in this business you have to have blinders on. You have to stay focused on your road, because if you're worried about a coach that just went diamond who signed up after you, or maybe they're making more money than you, or they're doing a crockpot group, they're doing a running group, your mind will go in 4,000 different directions. And if you don't stay focused on what you're doing and your road, you're gonna fall off track. So just remind yourself, just to put those blinders on and just do you. Okay. So now we're going to get more into the businessy talk. So those were overcoming your fear of that you don't have what it takes to become a leader. Yes, you do. You just need to read some books and fail forward, Let's see. So raise your hand if you went to school to be a business entrepreneur. No, I didn't think so. Raise your hand if you were just a natural born leader. You felt like, I am meant to lead a team of 5,000 people. No one thinks that. No one was born like that. Like, it's just something that kind of happens. I absolutely didn't think that. I love the people in my life that I say, I'm not a leader, or, I don't feel like I'm good at this. And they say, be quiet. Like, that is the negative self-talk. And they tell me, yes, you are. Like, look at what has happened. If I had never signed up Teresa never would have signed up Jen. Jen would have never signed up Lisa. Like, it is amazing to see the ripple effects that has happened in this team. So just like vision your future team too. Like, go to bed at night and think, wow, like maybe this year at Summit I went with one person, but next year I'm going to come with 5 people. The next year after that, 20 people. Like, it's really cool to just vision your team. Okay, so number 1, a couple things here. Realize that this is something we heard at Summit too, and it was a very nice refresher, but just realize that it's up to the person that signs up with you if they're going to succeed or not, okay? It's not your sole responsibility if they become a diamond, if they become a 2-star diamond. We've been talking a lot about this, and there's a lot of things that we try to make better, make easier, duplicate, and sometimes it's just the person. It depends on how much drive they have, how much they want to leave their current job. It really depends on the person, in my opinion, but yes, there are processes that make it easier, but you can't put the weight of that on your shoulders for all of the people that you're going to sign up, otherwise you'll just like go to sleep at night and you'll freak out about whether they got a return order, I don't know, just about bad stuff. So just take that pressure off, that it's not your responsibility if they succeed or not. The best thing that you did for them is you gave them this opportunity. If you don't see the opportunity that's in your hands, then that's your fault, or that's their fault, however you want to think about it. This is an incredible, company. Think about how many people there are. I think the very first time, what elite used to be? An elite coach used to be a 2-star diamond coach like 3 years ago. That's it. A 2-star diamond coach. Okay. I see diamonds here right now. Think about that, elite. And then they had to make it a little bit harder to become elite. And then last year there was a bunch more elite. Like, the fact that the company keeps growing and there's more and more, it's not like there's only 20 successful people. It's built up so that a lot of people can be successful in this business. So when you're signing up new coaches, okay, so I don't know how many, some people are calling in, so I can't really raise your hand type of thing, but maybe you have a couple people. What is your job when you sign up with people? And I'm not talking about the get started right process, all that jazz, but your number 1 thing is you need to make people feel welcomed, okay? You have to introduce them into the team page, whether it's your own team page, your upline's team page, sending them a welcome email, but they need to know that, yay, I just joined something that is positive and exciting, and get them excited about it. That's your number 1 job. Number 2 is having an open line of communication with you and having an open line of communication with the team. This team right here, or whatever team you're on, is the part that should make you not scared to grow your own team, because we're all here for each other, okay? I obviously try to have a closer relationship with the direct people that signed up with me. However, we can all communicate in whatever team page you're a part of. Most of us are in Team Strong, some people maybe not, or in Lisa, whatever. But if you think about it, there's like 100 people, 300 people that you automatically have connections to as soon as you become a coach. So your job as their coach is to connect them with you, let them know, hey girl, I am here for you, or hey guy, but you also have this team that will answer any of your questions, and feel free to talk to them too, okay? Which is easy to do. You can accomplish both of those just within a welcome and adding them to the team page, okay? Number 3 is invite them to do everything with you, okay? The people that you sign up, they are your people for the next couple months in training. Like, think about it, when you sign up for a new job, you have like a 30, 60, 90-day trial, right? Before you get fired or not, right? Not that we would ever fire anybody, but think about that as the training process. Like they have to shadow you, basically. They need to shadow you. So if you're running a free group, they're running it with you, whether they add people in or not. If you're running a challenge group, they're running it with you. Everything that you do, they're doing it with you. Okay, so signing up a new coach just means that you actually need to also do your job, which shouldn't be too scary. It's just running challenge groups and helping people get results. So it's pretty simple. And the last thing, and I think the most important thing, is just believe in them. Just believe in the person that you signed up. When I signed up Teresa, I honestly didn't even know her very well. She knew my husband's family more, like I won't go all into it, but basically I didn't even really know her. My husband was like, yeah, I think she'd be good at that. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to believe in this girl. She's going to find her own style type of thing. And I did. I believe in every single one of you that you all are not going to run your business the way I do it, that you're all going to run your business exactly how you should do it. So I think that's the most crucial thing when you sign up a new coach, is just believe that they can do it. And you have to tell them that. It's the exact same thing with our challengers. If you don't believe that they can finish 21 days or 30 days in Cours de Force, then they're not going to do it. If you tell them that you're going to, and you keep in contact with them, they will finish it, maybe. But you know what I mean? You have to believe in them. So the other thing, number 3, is these are the things that you're going to perfect along the way, okay? These are not things that you need to know before signing up a coach. It does help, but these are things that you get to find your own groove, you get to put your own stamp on, but they're all available to you either in the back office or in the team page. So that would include a welcome email, a getting started right process, whatever that is for you. For example, ours is welcome them to the team page, send them a welcome email, and I have a Google Doc, basically, or a Google form. I'm sorry, anybody can fill that out as long as you have a Gmail. Get a Google, form, basically go through a list of questions, try to get to know them better, figure out if they're a discount coach, figure out some of their personality, what drives them, what's their why, what's their background. Most of the people that you join in the beginning are people that you know, typically. But once you get into people that you don't know, that you met off Instagram, you need to kind of get to know them better, right? So having a Google form and all those answers go into one place is super, super helpful. Maybe you don't have that now. That's okay. Don't freak out. You don't have to go create one tonight, okay? But it's something that you create along the way. Another thing is figuring out what you talk about on your Get Started Right call, okay? I think it kind of differs from person to person on whether how much you know them, but all of those things are in our team page. If you just type, and hopefully you guys know this, there's a little search engine because there's a trillion files, and once you add a file, you can't take it back. So there has accumulated a lot. All you have to do is go to the search engine and click Get Started Right call, and anyone who has ever typed that will have one, okay? All you got to do is go look at one and then make it your own, or don't make it your own. That's what we call duplicating the process, or don't reinvent the wheel. It's already there for you. Just use what's there, and then every single time you add a new coach to your team, it's a new opportunity to make that process better, right? So I think that that's really exciting. That's what I get most excited about when I get a new coach. I'm like, yes, this time I want to do this differently, okay? So hopefully you guys feel that too, or yes, this is, you get inspired by them joining your team because they're excited. So hopefully that makes sense. Does anybody have questions? I know I've been rambling for a little bit about that stuff. Good. So just to recap, those things. It's up to the person if they're going to be successful or not. This business really will determine who's the go-getters and who are the quitters. Because when you give somebody this opportunity, the information is out there. It's up to them to go get it. It is your job as your coach to guide them along the way, but we can't give them everything. And you'll notice that your team, or maybe you have to hear, just us as human beings, we have to hear things 4,752 different times in different ways before it sinks in, right? It's just the way it is. Like my coaches that have been around for a while, they'll message me and say, oh, I finally decided to do this. I'm like, yeah, I told you that like 18 times, but it's cool. I'm glad you listened to something else that triggered that memory. And it's cool. I don't care how they figured it out, but just us as humans, we have to hear it a bunch of times. And don't take that as a bad thing. Just celebrate when it clicks for them, because it's a joyful moment. Okay, so where was I going with that? These are a few of my favorite leadership skills that I got from the EntreLeadership book. I already showed it one time, but showing it for you guys that signed up or came in late. Number one is leading with your goals. Lead with your goals, okay? Just the sheer fact that you're setting goals is going to inspire other people to make them, okay? I just realized I say okay a lot. I'm sorry. It's like my So if you have shared goals, that creates communication and it creates unity. So if you guys have a shared common goal, that would be amazing. Like pretend we had a common goal to grow our team page by 10 people this week. Obviously, you would host some kind of sneak peek, okay? And everybody would add everyone in. And your common goal would be to add your group by 10 people. So having a common goal is super helpful, but the most important thing is that you are setting your goals and you're sharing that with your team. I know that I don't share it all the time in the Strong page just because there's a lot of different branches of teams, but I do have a PS page and I try to share them in there as often as I can, just hoping that somebody else will also set goals for November or whatever. So first of all, they need to be your goals. They need to be written down. So whether that is written down on your mirror, written down on a notes pad, written down on a piece of paper, made into a cute collage, you got to write them down, or honestly, they don't even count because you'll forget about them. We're human. They got to be measurable, right? And basically making it measurable means it has a number in it. You have to go back and reflect and say, did I hit that goal? So, it doesn't need to be you need to lost 5 pounds this week, but you need to have said, I worked out 5 times this week or whatever. So there needs to be a number, a quantifier number in there. And then it's got to have a deadline. So whether that's a weekly goal or a monthly goal. So the point here is that you can lead with your goals. Lead your team with your goals. If you're setting a goal to hit Success Club, they're going to sit there. They're going to make that goal to hit Success Club. If you're trying to add 2 coaches to your team, they're going to do it too. It's just the way it is. If you're going to read 2 books this month or listen to 2 audios, they're going to be like, oh, that's a good goal to have. I didn't think of that one. So it's just kind of cool to put your goals out there and write these down. If you're trying to set your goals, sometimes we forget about different areas of our life. And, Beachbody coaches, we're like super well-rounded. That's what I love about us. We don't just make physical goals. We make all kinds of goals. So when you're thinking about what your goals are, they need to be career-oriented. And that's whether you have another job or Beachbody, financial, physical, spiritual, family, intellectual, so growing your mind, and social. So that's 7 things. So you should have at least 7 goals. I'll read those one more time. Career, financial, physical, spiritual, family, intellectual, and social. So if you don't get anything out of this call, at least set some goals. You're not even halfway through the month, so you could go and make some November goals. Your coach would be thrilled if you sent her your goals or you posted it in the team page. That is an amazing, just practice to get into. Let's see. Number 2, just something to think about. And as you become a leader, I don't care if you have 1 person on your team, 0 people on your team, or 20 people on your team. Is what you're doing simple, and is it duplicatable? This is the one thing that you're probably going to perfect as you grow your team, but it's something that as a leader, as people that are looking up to you, you need to think about. Is this easy to follow? And can somebody else do this? And if you have, raise your hand if you have a team page. Even if you don't post in it, do you have one created? Okay. Raise your hand if you have a team name. Okay. Some people I can't see because you're calling in. If you don't have a team name, that's step 1. Start thinking about that. Start visualizing. It's kind of like when you're naming your baby, it's like, oh, light bulb, maybe I'll call it light. You know, like everything you start thinking about what it's going to be. Get some inspiration of what your team name is going to be. Open that page, even if no one's in there, and start adding files in there. Files that you found that were helpful, that get started right email, all that kind of stuff, just so that you have it there for when your team does develop and come. Or maybe it's a folder on your team or a folder on your computer. If you're not ready for a team page, if you're like, oh, that's too much stuff for me, you could just create a group thread. Okay, maybe there's 3 people on your team. Just create a thread. Again, if you have a common goal, if everyone is trying to hit Success Club and you're all talking about what you're doing to hit Success Club, you're creating communication. So that's like the biggest thing with sharing your goals. That's the point of it. So let's see. Where was I going to go with that? Oh, and the last thing, dealing with leadership is just really getting to know, this is a people business. So learning about other people's personalities. And one of my favorite books was Personality Plus. And I forget, there's one audio that's super awesome. And it's, I don't know, if you type in personalities, it'll probably come up. It's really short. But you got to learn about people's personalities because there's so many different types. Some people want to have all the information right up front. How much does it cost? What am I going to do? What's the catch? What's this, that, before they sign up with you? Some people, that would freak them out and they would never come back. And you just need to give them little bits of information at a time. But you won't know that until you know what type of personality they are. So really learning their type of, learning their learning, that's what I'm trying to say, but it's not coming out right. How they like to learn, okay? Some people are better audio, some people are better visual, some people are hands-on, and you didn't need, geez, I did have a glass of wine before this, but it wasn't that bad. You got to know how people learn so that you can help teach them. Let's see. I think we're going to end early tonight, guys. This is exciting because I know it's late, right? Yeah, it's 8:30 for me, so 9:30 for you guys. We're wrapping it up here quickly. I want to ask you guys this question, and I want a couple brave souls to unmute yourselves and answer the question. So think about it, because maybe one of the questions is why. This was one of my hesitations, was why would someone want to join with me when I knew that there was a better coach out there, right? That's like one of the biggest fears is, oh my God, someone's going to join with me and they're going to wish they had joined with Stephanie Chico or Jennifer Wooten or, you know what I mean? Like anybody else, right? Like that's one of my fears, and I need to just do an affirmation to do the opposite of that. But I'm sure, raise your hand if you have that fear too. Is that something like, oh my gosh, they're going to wish they had signed up with someone else? I can honestly say I don't have that. I don't have that thought. Like I signed up with Stephanie and I don't even think about that. And I think it's just something that we think about, but the person that signed up with you for a reason. They probably trusted you, right? So I just want you to unmute yourself and say why you joined with your coach and what did you expect of them? Why did you join with your coach and what did you expect them to do for you? Come on, brave people. Somebody. Okay, Janelle, go for it.
I signed with Teresa and I saw that she was like only doing Beachbody, and I want to only do Beachbody. I don't want to work the corporate job anymore. I'm so over it. So I want to be just like Teresa, and so does Jonathan.
And did you know Teresa beforehand?
No, not at all.
That's awesome. And that's the same with me. Like I knew her, like, so my coach is Stephanie Chico, and I put that I was looking for something that I could do from home. I too didn't want to go to work. And I trusted her and I barely knew her. That was something I wrote down on my thing. And I think that's really awesome. And I wrote hashtag in my notes, hashtag thanks social media, because I felt like I knew her. I felt like I knew her and I felt like I trusted her. I did meet her in real life 2 times at a baseball game, but it's not like I would ask her to watch my kids type situation. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I stalked her a little.
Yeah, people stalk. Yeah. and And that's a whole nother training, obviously, being like, you know, in social media and you want to be approachable. Janelle, I'm sure you felt like you could open up to Teresa and ask her, hey, what is this Beachbody thing that you're doing? You know, like she gave off that vibe that like, hey, message me, you know what I mean? So we got to be open to that. But I just thought that was really cool that I trusted my coach and I barely even knew her. I just wanted to do something new. I wanted something different in my life. I wanted a source of income. And the biggest thing is that she gave me the impression that we were going to learn this thing together. And I wanted to share that with you guys for all the new coaches on here, is that she told me, hey, I am brand new to this. I don't even know what I'm doing. I trust the process. I trust the person who I signed up with, but I'm just getting started. So we're going to figure this out together. So I just wanted to tell you guys that you can tell your future coaches that, like, hey, I don't know everything. You don't need to know everything, but let's just figure this out together. And for whatever reason, maybe I'm just naive, but I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I did. I signed up that night. But anyways, anybody else want to share why they signed up with their coach and what they kind of expected of them? Emily?
I signed up with Casey, and I really enjoyed her enthusiasm for it. And I was always into health and fitness. I still I was trying to decide whether I wanted to go to college, but this seemed like something that I could start with.
There you go. I love it. Casey smiling. It's cool when your coaches are on here too, and they see that. That's really cool, Emily. And like, I have my 4-year reunion with Beachbody coming up actually. And I'm going to do like some kind of like, oh, I got my Beachbody degree, because it's crazy that people will go to school for 4 years to do something, and you can A, make way more in Beachbody, be way more fulfilled, work from home, love your job. And it's like, if you would just give it more than 6 months, like that just seems to be the tipping point. People say, okay, if I have not made $1,000 a month in 6 months, then I'm going to give up. But people don't understand that it accumulates and accumulates and accumulates. Like people go into debt for 4 years to get a college degree to be a teacher and make $25,000 a year or whatever. That's what I did. I wanted to be a teacher. And thank God I didn't go down that road. But anyways, I'm glad that you chose Beachbody, and hopefully it works out. All right, we got time for one more. One more brave soul. Go for it. Bobby?
So I actually, it's okay, either one's fine.
Yeah, what's your name, Bobby or Joe? Is it both? Is it 2 names?
Joe's the middle name.
Oh, okay, so you're from the South.
Yeah, so April Tice, her and I grew up together, so we're like 5th or 6th cousins, I don't know, anyway. So we reconnected on Facebook, and I saw pictures of her, and I was like, oh my God, girl, tell me your story, you know, what are you doing? And of course, that was before I became a coach and heard, oh, we all have a why, we all have a story, so it was kind of funny. But just seeing her before and after and watching her on social media for a couple weeks, I was like, what? Because I had done Insanity prior to that, so I had done a Beachbody program, but you never know, and this is bad to say, are these photoshopped pictures? Are these, and so like I trusted her, knowing her from, you know, growing up and stuff, so that kind of what put it all together, I guess, for me, and decided to become a coach.
That's awesome. And when you signed up, what did you expect her to do for you, type of thing?
She kind of knows me and knows that I'm like all about questions. I want to know the whole thing. I have to know it all. I'd have to do the research. Is it worth my time? Is it worth the effort? Is it worth it? You know, what am I going to do? But honestly, it was the challenge group, and seeing her and Lisa interact with all of these other women, I was like, oh my gosh, this is for me. You know, like it was great.
Sometimes you just have that feeling, and if we're on this call, we all have that feeling that like something's telling me that I just need to do this. Like, what's the absolute worst thing that's gonna happen? You know, we got an awesome workout program and a month worth of meals, and I like to tell people that, like, when we're doing our, you know, coach sneak peeks, like, what's the worst that can happen by trying this out, you know? Or like, if you have that feeling, that butterfly feeling, like, I want to do this, obviously you're going to have fears and reservations, but you know, something is telling you to do this for a reason, and to listen to that. So anyways, I just think it's really cool that, you know, I see everybody's faces on here. We all got started for different reasons. We were inspired by our coach for some reason, but we either trusted that person or we were inspired by them. So I just want to encourage you guys to just keep sharing your journey. We all reach different milestones in our business at different levels, at different times. And I don't want you to be scared. Like, if I can do this, like, you guys can do this too. Like I said, like, leadership is just something that you learn as you go. And just, what were the couple of the tips? It's just lead with your goals, right? Think about your process for getting people started right. Don't feel like you need to reinvent the entire wheel. Just use what you have available to you. Believe in your coaches. Believe that they have what it takes to be the top coach. And then learn about people. That's really all it is. And then everything else you just learn as you go. If you really are doing personal development every time and you are reading through 2 books a week, think about how many books that is after a couple years. Like, that's a lot. You're going to learn a lot, right? So anyways, you'll figure it out. That's the point here. You got what it takes inside, and just figure it out. All right. Love you guys. Don't care who you voted for. Stop talking about it on social media, and have a great night.